Alright, so back when this game came out, I was all the rage for it. Skyforge, it's gonna be the next fucking MMO. It's gonna be my shit. It's my game. Blase blase. I was hyped about it and everything. First game where I actually bought, the highest founder pack you could possibly get. Now, with that being said, I incredibly regretted that decision later on in the game or later on, in terms of permanent progression, because everybody knows how one of the reasons was because everybody knows, well, not everybody knows, but the majority of the people who play the game know how this class system works. You start off with 3 classes: Cryomancer, Paladin, and Lightbinder. Now, you have to use one of these classes, period, for, I think, 2 to 3 weeks minimum, depending on what class you're going for, till you get your other class. Now, that's okay, I guess, but the thing is, it's not okay in my opinion, because I don't mind working for a new class. I don't mind working for a badass class and everything, but the thing was that a lot of these classes were, the ones that took 3 weeks or 2 weeks or so, were cut off and sold in founders packs, and that's fine and all, but neither of the classes were the ones that I wanted. And the one that I really didn't care for was the ones that were being offered. Now, later on, after they had, tons of people, thousands of people had already spent like $75, and whatnot on their founders pack, they said, oh, by the way, we're going to add another pack, but this is going to be $60, and it's going to be a collector's edition. And it's going to have a lot better shit than what you paid for in your $75 pack. And you're fucked because we're cash grubby, money sucking motherfuckers. They had a better mount. They had better shit. Less cash up currency, but let's be honest. This is probably one of the most useless cash shops that I have ever seen. Aside from, it's not the most useless, because I think hands down the most useless cash shop in the MMORPG history is actually the Secret World. But this one doesn't even need it. You don't need premium. You actually get punished for having premium, because it entails with their whole limit shit, which was one of the main reasons why people left. I'll get into that in a little bit. Now, going back to one of my first reasons why I stopped playing was I felt like I had gotten taken advantage of. I felt like I got screwed, and I was unhappy, because I would have gladly taken less cash out currency for everything else that pack had. Not to mention the annoying ass sound that this is the amount that you get with the $75 found pack right here. My problem with this is I have the volume down really low right now, and that's because it's loud as fuck. It's loud as fuck, and it's annoying. I don't want to have to deal with that. And you can't turn it down individually. It's really fucking noisy. But and I was like, okay, and it creates pathing issues, because of the little side blades. So it's cool. It looks cool, yeah, but I would rather much have the where is it? The bird that they offered. Transport. Here we go. Where is it? The MOA. This is it. This is what they offered in the $60 pack. And from what I was told, you can't get it anymore. You can't get it outside the Founders Pack. But this is the one I wanted. I would rather much prefer... I prefer animal mounts anyways. So I would rather much actually prefer this one than, than the one that I got. So, yeah, this. It looks cool and everything, but I'd rather much prefer the bird mount. So that being said, feeling like I was taken advantage of, that kind of got on my nerves. I didn't want to play that anymore. So on top of that, we got the limits that a lot of people didn't like. This is the one game where they actually tell you, hey, it's like they took this concept out of fucking Korea or China or wherever, where the places where they have really bad problems, where people play games way too fucking much and they actually ruin their lives over it. They get sick over it. You know, where they actually have to implement time restrictions on their video games. You know, you're legally liable if someone fucks their shit up because they're playing your game too much. You know, Aeon had it, fucking Fallout 4 had it. It's not an MMORPG, but you know what I'm saying. So many places have this issue in that area with these games, and they literally have to think, hey. That's why you see that little pop-up thing. Hey, you've been playing for 2 hours. Maybe you should, go out, be social, go outside. Go talk to a girl or something. Go pick a daisy. Go get laid. Go do something. Go do something other than sitting on your ass right now playing our game. Yes, you paid us $60 to play our game, but you need to take your ass outside and do something so we don't get in trouble. Now, the way they instituted this was basically, where is it? All right, through cap limits, a credit limit, a spark limit, class spark limit, and a particle mastery. Now, the credit limit wasn't really that big of an issue, but then it later on became an issue because once the sparks were capped, really all you could do to gain more levels, more prestige, was through the cult simulator online. And you basically needed items, from your characters. You needed items to basically get to upgrade these places. You want to buy some holy texts from the market. You need money. You're out of money. Can't get any more money. So I say, fuck it. I'm gonna buy some on the market. That's how the money shit came down. Now, other than that, it was pretty fucking annoying because on top of the money limit, you got the spark limit, which meant if you didn't already have your class, if you decided to, you're one of those people who decided to go for every little side node, instead of going for a direct path to your fucking class, like you wanted to get this whole fucking thing. No, you wanted to get this whole thing. You wanted to get bing bang boom bing boom bam bing bang ping pong ding 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 before actually getting your class. You were going to be fucked for an extra week. And the caps did not reset until every fucking week. Yeah, I think I don't remember what the day that they reset. I think it was Monday. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was Monday to Monday. I don't remember, but it was basically a week or a week and a half, one of the two. And if you had played every single time, if you played to your cap limit, you literally had to wait 2 weeks to get a low tier class. 3 weeks if you wanted a high tier class. Now, this was an issue that I thought they never should have been introduced to begin with. No class should be, there shouldn't be tiers of classes. That just immediately promotes OP-ness. That immediately promotes balance issues, Oh, this class is, you can pay for this class. You want this class unlocked now? Pay me $60 for it and you can get it. That opens up for many people, since, a lot of people have a different opinion on pay to win. Some people think that even if you can still get a certain item without in-game cash, it just takes a while. Some people think that's still pay to win because the amount of time that it takes to get that, like if it takes me literally 3 fucking weeks or 4 months to get the same thing that you bought instantly, people will consider that pay to win still. And that people can take that same approach here. Like I can either wait 3 weeks of playing, maxing my caps out, or I can get my shit now. Some people think that's pay to win, but because there are multiple versions of pay to win, multiple opinions on what pay to win actually means for many people. That's the second reason why I stopped playing. The third reason was it's on top of the lack of customization, that also irritated me. But it wasn't really more of a reason for me quitting because I thought, they would eventually add more shit, which they didn't 6 months later. So I'm a little so pissed off at that. So, not ever being able to change my headpiece unless it's a master class thing or something, you know, class headwear or something, it's really discouraging because a lot of people about MMOs, a lot of people want to look how they want to look. You know, they want to represent their own character in a special way or whatever, and they can't do that here because you're stuck with so limited options in terms of headwear and masks and glasses and tattoos, and you know, it's like, okay, really, well, surely they got tons of clothes. Yeah, they got tons of clothes, but that's all you're gonna get for right now because these are every single piece. This is every single piece of clothing that they had once open beta started. I'm 99.9% sure on that. I bet if I went back into my original video when I was talking about the inner workings of Skyforge, about how, you know, the cash shop and everything, I bet if I went into that video and looked at the cash shop segment, I wouldn't see a single fucking thing new that's not here now. So, you know, if they want us to, like, because the whole thing is you're never going to get, you don't actually have, you know, armor. You don't actually have armor. This is all you get. This is the only physical thing that changes on your physical appearance is, you know, in terms of gear, is your weapon, which is the, you know, this thing right here. This, and even then, it's very limited on how different it changes. You know, sometimes you get the snowflake, and sometimes you don't get a snowflake at all. Now, I haven't gone very far in the game because I stopped playing, you know, like around 12k prestige because, like I said, it got fucking boring for me. It left for a lot of reasons. And lack of appearance customization is really big for me because I love looking the way I want to look. You know, I want to play a male character, which is what I can do, so it's not gender locked, which is great. You know, the one of the fucking few games you don't do that shit now, because nowadays it's 2015, 2016, and it's like everybody wants to fucking jump on the gender lock train. Gender locking is bad. It pisses people off. It makes people not want to play your game. I understand you might have to do it for lore purposes, but when you get to the point where you're literally every class that you fucking unlock, you add to the game is female fucking gender lock, that pisses everybody off. Not everybody, because there are some people who don't care about gender lock, but some people who do. And I think it's kind of even on the people who do and who don't. Like, take Black Desert, for instance. A lot of people are either, I don't know if they're actually going to do it or not, but they're like, okay, I really don't want to play this without my class, because it's a game where you have classes that are gender locked at the moment. They are gender locked, period, but they have opposites, you know, like the warrior has the female opposite of the class, like Valkyrie and shit like that. The witch has the wizard, etc., etc. But not all the classes are going to be out like that on the North American launch. And a lot of it's actually uneven on the female ratio right now. It's like 5, I think it's 5 female, 3 male. I could be wrong, but it's either 3 and 5 or 4 and 3, or 3 and 4. I mean, with the lower number being the male. Now, I don't care if the ratio is uneven, as long as there's a class that I want to play. I don't give a fuck. Unfortunately, there isn't a class that I want to play that's male. You know, I'm still gonna play it anyways. I forced myself to pick one just because, I mean, the game got gifted to me, so I feel like I have to play it anyways, even if I do like it. But, you know, I'm going to play it for a little bit. But, honestly, it gets down to the point where, like, gender locking is, like, a new fucking thing now. Everybody's fucking jumping on the gender lock train. It's fucking annoying. Crowfall is doing it. Blade and Soul is doing it, but not severely, not like everybody else. I think so far they only have they're more into racial locking, which I'm completely fine with. I'm completely fine with racial locking, you know, but gender locking is what pisses me off. Blade and Soul isn't doing it as severe as everybody else is. They have like maybe one race that's gender locked, and that's a race, not a class. They're racial locking, pretty much. They're racial locking. So, I mean, the lack of customization is an issue with me. Now, I think I think another reason I stopped playing was this game is very heavy on community, very heavy on the player base. So if you don't have an active community or an active player base at your current level, it's gonna be really hard for you to get a fucking group for anything, especially if you're a lone wolf. If you don't have a guild, you don't have people who you play with and all that shit, it's gonna be hard for you to get any groups for anything. Because let's say I want to do squat, I want to do this, or I need to do this because I need that fucking Oki tablet to get my cult simulator going. I gotta sit here for like 30 to 40 minutes to an hour or even longer for like something that no one's gonna fucking join. It's really fucking annoying because I don't feel like I should have to wait that long. So this also drives people away. Now, I came back to the game because I wanted to see if they were doing anything different. I wanted to see if I was wrong about them off of my initial assumption that they were just lazy, money-grubbing bastards. They just cared about the fucking status quo. They didn't care about the community. They didn't care about the player experience. They just wanted money. That's what my initial assessment was. I came back to see if I was right, and I'm more like on the assessment. I'm more of like 70% right, 30% unsure. Because I come back in 6 months. One, they're still in fucking open beta. Like, I've never heard of an MMORPG being in beta for more than a week, a couple weeks to a month. And for those who are going to say Minecraft was in beta for 2 years, in my opinion, Minecraft is not an actual MMORPG. It is an MMO, not an MMORPG. Because there are no RPG elements in the game. There's no questing, there's no raiding, there's no dungeons. There's no gear in terms of like, what I'm saying? There's no like, it's not a traditional MMORPG. It's not like Skyforge. It's not like WoW. It's not like Rift. It's not like anything with an actual MMORPG title to it. So it is an MMO to me, and always will be an MMO. Just it. Now Trove, I believe is an MMORPG. I'm pretty sure Trove is more of an MMORPG than Minecraft is. But anyways, what was I going with this? Oh right, yeah, six months in open beta, and it's still an open beta. What the fuck, And what do they have for those? What do they have to show for those 6 months? Some minor class tweaks, some shit like that. Some minor content changes. 2 big content changes, which was Invasions and Pantheon Wars. Now the Pantheon Wars is the guild versus guild thing, I believe in. The Invasions are the second endgame PvE element that a lot of people was asking for, and what they were trying to do, because they were trying to add, which is actually the whole endgame situation, is why they put the cap in the is why they put the cap in the game for the first place. They didn't want people to reach the endgame and bitch about, oh hey, there's no endgame here, I'm gone. Now I don't know how I feel about that. I honestly feel like that's lazy. That you have to tell people, well, we know they're going to do it, so why don't we just, if it was a temporary cap, that would have been fine. But it's 6 months, the cap's still here. Now, this is 6 months worth of caps. This is because it's like rollover minutes. What you don't use rolls over onto your next cap limit. So that's why it's, they basically want you to like make an account, don't play for a year or half a year, then come back. That's pretty much the concept that everybody was throwing out there. Leave for half a year or a year, then come back, you'll be fine. Like, oh, well, people won't mind the cap. I don't mind the cap. I don't. And of course, there was no actual legitimate reference or backup for these arguments. It was really, most of them were kind of founded in plain old school ignorance and belittling, condescending bullshit. Well, I have a life, I'm glad they put a cap in. I have a life. I have to run my company. I have to take care of my family. I have to keep social appearances. I got to do this and I got to do that. I don't want to be left behind because I have a life. Snare, 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 snare. And then that's more of like the fucking most ignorant, closed-minded, immature thing that I think anybody can say, because you're saying, oh well, I have a life. Well, that doesn't mean shit. motherfucker. I know people who do more than you do and still manage to fucking play the game more than you do and have a life. So the whole thing, I have a life, is a bunch of bullshit ignorance. Is a bunch of bowl of bullshit ignorance sprinkled with bullshit sprinkles with horseshit sauce, you know? And a condescending cherry at the top of it. Like, you need to shut the fuck up and take your ignorant ass out. Do something. Go back to your life, you know? Your busy life. Oh, you're so busy life. You know, and it's like, just fuck off. But yeah, and the cap is still here, and aside from the Pantheon Wars, the minor class tweaks and shit like that, a lot of the changes aren't just cosmetic. There's nothing in the shop new in terms of cosmetic. There's nothing new in the shop, which honestly I thought there would be by now. There's not a single damn new headpiece, gear piece, costume to buy, nothing to buy. With, you know, all this useless cash out money that I have, you know. They added some new icons for items. They've given some new weapons, some new skins. They've changed the spell effects. They've made the spell effects more pretty, because I noticed this when I was hopping on my Cryomancer, that they changed the spell effects a little bit. Like this one, for instance. That little thing that pops up around me, that wasn't there before. Neither were those little shards of ice. So, and honestly, I'm okay with prettiness, but the problem with the game before was that it was too pretty because it was blinding. It was very blinding, you know. Now, going back on when I said that there's nothing new, I never saw that before. So, I'm assuming this is obtained in the game somehow. So, and he's a cryomancer, so that's pretty cool, but I don't know how to get that. So, in terms of buying stuff, you can't buy anything new. Maybe that's some Pantheon or guild versus guild bullshit that you gotta go through to get. That's a Christmas outfit, I know that much. That's a Christmas outfit. But other than that, that's pretty much why I quit the game, you know, and it makes me sad that they're just focusing on cosmetics, because I feel like... Alright, so basically, I feel like they're I feel like they're really lacking in terms of progress, because they have to fight. This is what they have in 6 months of open beta. Okay, 6 months of open beta, and this is all we have to show for it. There's no new customization, a few content updates, you know, a bunch of cosmetic upgrades, spell effect upgrades, and we're going into 2016, and you're in the race for game to play of the year. You know, every MMORPG is in a race, whether they know it or not. They're in the race to get players, and I honestly feel like they lost the race, because let's think about the competition real quick. They've got The Division. This is all coming out this year in 2016. The Division, Black Desert, Blade and Soul, World of Warcraft Legion, Crowfall, and it's like, y'all, this is what all of which are better games. Now, some would say The Division isn't an MMORPG, whatever. I differ. I beg to differ. It might not be a open world sandboxy, you know, MMORPG, which we were led to believe, but it's still an MMORPG. I personally think. I mean, it's instance, yeah, but it's you and other. It's like you and other players. You're grouped with other people against other people. You know, it seems like it's a fucking MMORPG to me. It seems like it's an MMORPG to me. So, whether you believe it or not, I don't know. It depends, really. But I honestly just feel like the game is lost. They lost the race, you know. But if you guys have your own opinion on it, If you don't, if you want to comment, or if I was misleading on some information, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below in a constructive manner. Peace.